Hey y'all, welcome and welcome back to my channel. It's me, Kia Simone. And listen, since the last time we talked, I had gone down the rabbit hole of actually checking out the Braxtons, the new season, because, you know, we talked about Tamar and her outburst on the internet and everything she got going on. And I really didn't know the context of the scene that I saw all over the internet that I was talking about in the last video. So I said, well, let me, while it's a new season, let me go ahead and catch up on these 2 episodes and see what they got going on. And I'll be damned if they ain't got it going on. This I think is about to be a bigger mess than I ever expected. Let's get into it. Before we do, please be sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe if you've not already. And of course, I gotta shout out my super thanksters. Thank you so much to Yvette Greer, as always, to Mari Stanley, you know I love you, to Lorenzo Malone on Cash App, thank you so much. So episode 1 opens up at Trina's house. She's at home with her first black husband, because you know Trina ain't never did black men before Vaughn. I'm so happy for her, God bless her, because he look like he's a good man, Savannah. Well, I guess she kept the recipes from her last marriage, because she home making Mexican dip for her black husband. And they in the kitchen talking about how they feel about the show coming back. Like, okay, now y'all gonna go from 1 degree of playing in our face to another. Because first y'all gonna start out playing like we can't see them having this conversation about how do you feel about the show coming back. Well, Trina told her husband that she is leery about the show coming back. She said that it's been 3 years since they filmed. And with the time lapse in them filming and the passing of Traci, she first of all thought that the family would have come closer together. They would have been drawn together, but that's not what happened. Being that they've had all of that time, they've had the loss of Traci, and they've not come together as the family that she thought they would, she's kind of worried about how it's going to all come together when they try to finally come together on camera. And that's the thing. Unfortunately, death has a way of disjointing and surfacing dysfunction. It just does. We hate to see it. We always say when you see families get together at funerals and things like that, that we can't let this be the last time we get together. We can't let this be the only way we see each other. And we don't never see each other again. We don't talk to nobody. We don't call nobody. We ain't checking on nobody. And the next time we do see somebody is when we going to see somebody laid up going to see the Lord. And it's sad. It's very sad. Trina says she wouldn't go as far as to say that she and her sisters have become estranged since Traci's passing, but she feels like everybody kind of went to their own corners and nobody really wanted to talk about it. I don't know if it is just Traci's passing or all of the other underlying issues that they have. But she said for her, somebody who needs to communicate and needs to really process these things, she had to bottle up her feelings because nobody wanted to come together and communicate. And that's been a very unhealthy thing for her. And truly it's an unhealthy thing for anybody to have to bottle up emotions, especially when you are dealing with grief. It is a very heavy thing. And sometimes you really do need other people. And you need sometimes, as strange as it is, you need somebody else who knows the loss. So, you know, yeah, maybe she has her husband and she has her kids, but I think in this time, she needs to be able to bond with her sisters. So now, speaking of the family ain't been there for each other, Trina announces to her husband that, so you know, we got dinner planned with Tony and the rest of the family and the sisters and stuff. Vaughn said, who is we? Because I don't speak no damn French. Who is we? I can tell you with no uncertainties, that man loved the hell out of his wife. But one thing he ain't gonna do is put up with that damn family. You might put up with them. I ain't dealing with. When Vaughn said, who is we? What you mean we? Trina said, well, I mean me and my sisters. And he's all right. Yeah, y'all need some time together. So Trina's telling her husband how their mom has been pushing for the family to talk to a grief counselor. And that's how Traci's son, little Kevin, is introduced into the season. She brings up how it's important for them to stay in touch with him because not only is little Kevin Traci's son, that was her only child, and Traci and her son were the best of friends. So he lost his mom, he lost his best friend, he doesn't have any siblings to go through this with, and he's not been able to really lean on his dad as much. Apparently because his dad is also going through his own grief process. And as Trina put it, Trina said in the confessional, she said, you know, I'm not going to bash the man. I ain't going to talk bad about him because I guess he's grieving too. He is a mourning husband, regardless of my opinion of him. But when you have this child who has lost one parent and the surviving parent is shut down, who does he go to? I said, well, damn, Trina, if you didn't want us to know, you can't stand his black ass. That wasn't, we know. While they have all that going on, that's not why they're getting together to go to dinner. Apparently, Tony is who called this dinner. and she invited everyone to come together because she has an announcement to make. So we move on and we see them all getting together at the restaurant. We see Trina, Tamar, Tony, and their mom. They said they're going to put the bill on Towanda because her ass is late. And as they're sitting there waiting on Towanda to get her ass there, they are catching up and having small talk and talking about what's going on with them. And Tony is saying how she has a Vegas show coming up. She's going to be a part of a variety show with Cedric the Entertainer, and they're going to have singing and dancing and comedy and all sorts of things. And she's really excited about that because she hasn't worked in 15 months, which is because a doctor told her to sit her down somewhere for 15 months, but her family don't quite know that yet. Tony said, now this won't be her first Vegas residency. I think she had a residency back in 2007. She said it was years ago, but that residency ended because she found out that she had lupus. And this one might be in jeopardy before it starts because she has another announcement. But before they get to her another announcement, Tamar said, let's get in your business a little bit. Since you got announcements, do you have an announcement about your relationship? Is you getting married? Is you still engaged? Where that man at? Tony said, well, I feel single. Huh? Tamar said, what you mean you feel single? Tony said, I feel single. I ain't married to nobody. I ain't quite engaged. I ain't betrothed. So, I'm single. That means she done caught that man doing some shit. So that man ain't her man, but he's still her man. He might be paying some bills, but she don't wear that ring. She done told him she ain't gonna marry, and I bet not catch you doing none of the shit that I know you doing. Like, child, it's a mess. So Towanda finally gets there, and when she gets there, in true sister fashion, she and Trina are wearing the same dress. So now they're all sitting around the table and they're talking about, the idea of going to grief counselors and how all the sisters have this hummingbird necklace that they wear in memory of Traci. And Tony asks, well, how is little Kevin doing? And Towanda announces, he's going through some things. He's going through a divorce right now. I said, excuse me, what? This is about where I started to side-eye this show because I was all right, okay. They want to share, how they're progressing since the passing of Traci. Okay, these are their memories. Y'all do with them what y'all want. Now, I don't necessarily agree with some of the stuff they but all right. Now, at this point, I started to wonder, is they about to sell us their stories and their feelings and their drama and dysfunction amongst themselves as sisters? Or are they about to sell us their damn nephew? Are y'all about to take Traci's son and put his ass up as the living sacrifice to get y'all checked? Is that what's about to happen? So now Tamar at the table as confused and taken aback as me. Tamar said, what happened? What you mean the baby getting a divorce? Do y'all know something? Because why I don't know that. Tamar said in the confessional that she's taken aback to find out that he's going through a divorce because she actually sees and talks to him all the time. And he never mentioned it to her. I said, well, now that could be for one or two or a few reasons. One being that, he is a young man. That is his own marriage. And maybe he didn't want to involve his aunties and his parents. Maybe he wanted to try to keep his business to himself and between him and his wife. I don't know. And the bigger reason is probably because you run your ex to the internet and tell every damn thing. One thing you gonna do is run up and through the internet streets screaming. So maybe he said, you know what? I love you, auntie. I truly appreciate you being in my life, but you can't be in my business. And so Tony asked, well, has little Kevin done grief management? And they said, no, he hasn't. She said, well, that's a pretty big deal because that's a major loss. He lost his mom. And in the confessional, their mother, Miss Evelyn Braxton, she's saying how she heard that he's getting a divorce and how that truly upset her because she knows that would break Traci's heart. And I'm trying to understand, his mama is passed on, but all y'all is alive and well. Y'all is in able bodies and right minds. Well, what you mean you heard? Ain't nobody called and checked on the child? And please miss me. With the whole, he grown, he's an adult, the phone work both ways. He is always the child in this dynamic. And in this dynamic, this is a child who has lost their mother and is apparently in some level of estrangement from their father. His family should be descending on him right now. And as they're talking about little Kevin and his divorce and how upset Traci would be, Trina starts to get teary-eyed. They can see Trina is about to go over the edge any moment now. But little sister sure do come in handy because Tamar said, I know how to fix this. I'm going to pull her right on back from the edge. She reached over in her plate. She says, this cheese, Trina about snapped. If you don't get your hand out my plate. Yeah, woke that ass up though. They said, you know what? Let's just change the subject. Trina thinking she gonna get in a better mood and better news, said, I would like to hear Tony's announcement. No, you won't. So Tony goes into her announcement and she starts by explaining that she was experiencing heart pains, which caused her to go see her doctor. They did a series of tests and then decided that they needed to do surgery to see what's going on. She had to have a stent put in her heart. They told her that I guess she had some incident that happened with her heart that should have taken her up out of here, but they said Traci was at the door saying, no, you can't come with me. The announcement that Tony is making to her family is that though she had a stent put in her heart, her doctor told her that eventually she is going to need bypass surgery. Otherwise, if she has a heart attack, that's it. Now, that's scary by itself. That's enough to have you stretched out on the floor on its own. I ain't trying to be funny, but I mean, I don't know how she kept her heart calm through that. I just, But couple that with they've already lost one sister, and now she has this compounding health issue that's not just threatening her career because the lupus threatened her career. Now they telling her, hey, you moved the wrong way. That might be the last move you make. And she is terrified, and she absolutely breaks down at this table. And as she's having this moment, she's crying about the anxiety that this has created for her, how she worries about her children. If something happens to her, what happens to them? And her sisters are surrounding her and they're hugging her and they loving on her and kissing on her. And they started pulling out them scriptures. You got to speak those things that are not as though they were. I see, yeah, they about to get deep. And it's terrifying, as everything that Tony is explaining is. Her sisters are absolutely right. You have to speak those things that are not as though they were. You have to speak to that issue. Her sisters told her you have to speak even to that anxiety. When you start having those thoughts, you rebuke those things. You don't have to be subject to that anxiety. You don't have to let that thing rule you. You don't have to sit around and live your whole life worried about how is this underlying issue going to affect my life. Because the thing is, it's affecting your life when you sit around worrying all day, letting it affect your life. And as hard as it is to say or do or feel or believe, maybe a necessary perspective is that at this stage, the worst that could happen is to actually have the diagnosis. And that's happened. So the worst has happened. But rather than letting the fear of what is going on in my body and what my body might do and how my body might betray me, rather than letting that fear paralyze you, allow it to propel you. Allow it to disarm those thoughts that stop you from living your life on a daily basis. Allow it to be the thing that pushes you to say, you know what, I don't know if today is my last day. I don't know if somebody might piss me off and I might use my last good cursing out before I clock out this month. So let me go ahead and live my life and have me a good time. Use it to propel you, rather than allowing it to paralyze you. Trina said in this moment, seeing the whole family rally around Tony really gives her hope that they can be a family, that they can come together. But for me, the sad part is that it always takes some level of misfortune or tragedy for that coming together to happen. Or if it's not because of some level of misfortune or tragedy, when there's not any sort of an underlying issue, an issue is produced from the coming together. That's the sad part for me. Now, speaking of dysfunction and disorders and things, we wrap that up and we move on. We see Trina and Towanda going out for drinks and dinner. Trina said it's going to be her last time for a while. She going to have to cut back on these drinks because she got a little extra weight around the middle. Yeah, child, it be like that sometimes. Sometimes that cup be calling and you got to tell it, I got to talk to you later. But Towanda used this as her opportunity to address, I guess, what was an elephant in the room? I guess it was a topic of discussion that she has a bald head. So she used this moment to announce that she has alopecia, and she said people had been speculating that, but she never formally announced it, so now we know. She was saying that it was a very difficult adjustment for her because she is someone who took a lot of pride in her appearance. And so for her to lose her hair was very, very difficult. But she's now arrived at a place where people can either accept her for who she is or they can get the hell on. For me, Towanda is absolutely beautiful. I think she serves face. If you want you a piece of hair, go get you a wig or something because she's stunning. And so as they're talking about the fact that Towanda has alopecia, Trina in the confessional brings up that they have this footage. They have, their own personal footage of Traci rubbing Towanda's head before she cut her hair off. It's a very, very touching scene. But they use that scene to segue into how they're once again concerned about Traci's son, little Kevin. And they decide that they should go ahead and call him. Now, I don't know. I'm going to mind my business. No, I'm not. But I'm trying to figure out if is they only calling the man when they filming a scene, or are they genuinely checking on him in real life? Towanda said in the confessional that since the passing of Traci, that they have tried their very best to be there for him as much as they can, that they know that they cannot fill the void of his mother, but they are trying. So the two of them FaceTime call him, he answers, and they're telling him how good he looks, and he got a fresh retwist on his locks, and they're asking, well, who did your hair? And he said, Olivia. They said, well, who the hell is Olivia? I know you ain't talking about Silly Turn, your ex-wife. He said, yeah, she don't know if she want to have an issue or not, yada, yada, yada. So they all, oh my God, not the ex-wife. Y'all still hanging out. I said, now I know y'all did not reboot this show to bring these young people and their drama on this TV. I know y'all didn't. I just know y'all ain't did that. Because see, the thing is, when you hit a certain age and stage in life, just naturally, you have less drama. I mean, your life should settle out unless you was an old fool. And ain't no fool like an old fool, right? Just some of them out there. So unless you's a committed old fool, you just kind of naturally level out. Your life just kind of calms down. So y'all ain't got but so much drama to sell us. I mean, except Tamar. She's still running wild in these streets. But y'all don't have but so much drama to sell us. So I would imagine that y'all done decided that the drama portion is going to come from him and what's going on in his life. And naturally, young people just have drama. I mean, sometimes just because figuring life out is hell in and of itself, even if you think you got everything right. But when you fucking it up and you don't know what you're doing, oh, it get to be a train wreck to watch. And so I kind of feel a way about the sudden super inclusion of him and all the details of his life, because in all the seasons of this show we've seen, we have never seen Traci really put the inner workings of her son and his life and his relationships on Front Street. Yes, we saw that he was getting married and he was having a baby, but it kind of felt like that story was given to us with discretion. Like, yeah, y'all can know what's going on, but y'all don't need to know every time they're getting into it and fighting and carrying on. That ain't y'all business. Part of me just has to wonder if Traci were still living today and they decided that they were going to reboot this show, would Traci co-sign putting her son and all of his drama and everything that's going on with his life front and center? Because this is just the tip of the iceberg. This gets thick. So they use this moment to announce to him that they have decided that they think it's a good idea for the family to go see a grief counselor. Now we see them all getting together to talk to the grief counselor, and I think they're getting together at Tony's house instead of the mom house. I don't know, they ain't at my damn house. Trina in the kitchen cooking, and Tamar come in and she's like, well, yeah, I'm here to be moral support. I don't really need too much counseling. I done been to 4 or 5 counselors my damn self, not that they help, but I'm just like, I don't need this. But since I'm here, you know, I got a couple questions. First one being, what y'all say this lady named Spirit? Where Spirit come from? Tamar works my nerves a lot of the times, but this time I'm with her because I be wanting to know, where do y'all find these people? Where did you find Spirit? Trina said, well, she found Spirit the last time that she was dealing with a grief process, and that's when her ex-husband Gabe passed away. And that's when it hit me that Trina done been through it. I just pulled Trina. She said now she and Gabe weren't together when Gabe passed away. She was remarried to her new husband, her current husband, Vaughn, who she is and was very happy with. But it was still a very major loss. It still created a lot of grief for her. And that's when she met this grief counselor, and it was very effective. She's very good at what she does, but Trina just wasn't ready at the time. So we finally see the grief counselor get there, and she sits them down and she wants to, you know, get cracking with the grief. So she starts with Trina and she said, since you're the person who actually called me and you called all this together, let's start with you. What is your objective? What would you like to achieve today? Trina said, can we please not start with me? She said, what you mean? Why do you want me to not start with you? You called me here. I don't understand. In so many words, Trina is basically saying, I don't want to be the one to go first because I'm going to set this motherfucker off. I got some shit to say. I got some shit to get off my chest. If you start with me, it's going to probably go left real quick. And I don't want to be the person responsible for derailing this whole thing. So start with somebody else. So episode 1 comes to an end with Tony saying on top of everything Trina is bottling up, they as a family are also just not the best communicators. They don't always know how to say what they're trying to say and get it off their chest without their words punching somebody in the chest. So they have have a tendency and probability for all of their gatherings to go left. But the counselor also lays down her ground rules. She said this is going to be a no judgment zone. She does not believe in pitting anyone against anyone, and no one person is the problem in the situation. The problem is the problem, and they as individuals and as a family will work together to resolve the problem. Now we move on to episode 2, and quite honestly, the majority of the beginning of episode 2 is kind of sad for me. It's a lot of the memories of Traci and them talking to the grief counselor. And I'm an empathetic kind of person. I know it don't always seem like it because I drag somebody from here to hell, but I'm a very empathetic person. And grief is one of my, I don't do well with grief at all. So I'm gonna probably run through this. I'm gonna just tell y'all what they talk about real quick. And then we're gonna get to the meat and potatoes and the heat and hell that is going on at the end of this episode, because what in the hell? Now we have the grief counselors, the sisters, and then on screen on a Zoom call, a FaceTime or something, we have their dad and we have Traci's son, Kevin. So the grief counselor starts off asking their mom how she feels, and she said everything she feels for her grandson, little Kevin. She said she feels a lot of pain for her grandson, and so the counselor asked her, well, what about your own pain? Do you feel that? She said, yeah, I felt that every day. And the counselor honed in on the fact that she spoke in past tense. She said, I heard you say that you felt that. And their mom responds by saying, well, you know, nothing can ever prepare a person for losing a child. She was my child. I carried her, and she could never be replaced. So for me, it's a difference. She said, now, I almost lost Traci 3 different times in her life. She said, first when I was carrying her, one time as a child when she had a high fever, and then this time I just couldn't save her. And it might sound bad what I'm saying, but she was so ill that I did pray and ask God to take her. When you first hear that, that is very off-putting. It's like, oh my God, what? Instinctively, there's a part of you that goes, oh my God, what do you mean? Why wouldn't you ask God to save her? And it's not to say that she didn't pray and ask God to save her child. But then the other side of me kicks in and says, well, how difficult must it have been? How much pain must her child have been in? Must she have been in watching her child be in pain? For her to go to God and say, well, you know what, God? If you're not going to heal her, just go ahead and take her. Now, heaven forbid if anything should ever happen to me. Lord, please keep me in good health and wealth. But if something happened to me and y'all going to get to praying for me, please pray for my healing, my health, and my wealth. So now they sitting in front of the grief counselor and they going down memory lane. And she said, yeah, that's all well and good. That's real nice. I'm glad to hear y'all got all your good memories at the surface. But that ain't what we here for. We need to address your grief. And not only your grief, but the root of your grief and the dysfunction that is going on here. Trina said, what you mean by getting to the root of it? The counselor explained to them that grief is connected to everything else. And when you're in processes like this, and there are things that you don't want to talk about or you can't speak about, you're not able to speak freely, which eliminates the therapeutic element from the process. The lady said, basically, I can't help y'all if y'all can't tell me what you need help with. Yes, we can go down memory lane and we can cherish the memories and all that. But we cannot sit here and just be looking at each other and y'all want me to fix what y'all won't even speak. Well, that's all Trina needed. Trina said, well, damn it, I ain't free at all. And Trina went the hell off. Trina went into a full meltdown. They said, Trina, what you not free about? She just started crying. She said, nothing. She said, Towanda told me I wasn't strong enough to watch Traci take her last breath. And I said, yes, I was, but I wasn't strong enough. Towanda said she knows how sensitive Trina is, and she knew that Trina could not handle that because that is the kind of thing that will scar you for the rest of your life. And apparently, Trina is very, very deeply scarred. And in the middle of her meltdown, Trina started going off, but I can't lose none of this damn weight because I'm eating all my feelings and your feelings too. Well, Trina, girl, I understand. I've been eating somebody's damn feelings. Trina said, and if they talk about me for drinking too damn much, they gonna have to keep on talking because I'm gonna keep on drinking. That's what the hell make me feel good right now. I like me a plate of food, something that's been deep fried in some good grease. I like me a glass of some good liquor. That's what make me feel good. Girl, Trina, I understand. And I mean, it's not so much about the grief. I just like a good plate of food and a good glass of liquor. I ain't tell you nowhere to lie. So the counselor ends up concluding to Trina that, baby, first of all, you doing a good job because this is what the process looks like. I know you screaming and crying and cursing and carrying on, but this is what it looks like. Secondly, not only are you dealing with grief, but you're also dealing with post-traumatic stress disorder, and you need treatment, honey. She said all the food and the liquor, that's self-medicating. I know you like that medicine, but you need some real treatment. The counselor moves on to talking to them about the state of their relationships and how they feel about where they are as of today. Well, Trina spoke up again. She's sure doing a lot of talking for somebody who didn't want to go first. Trina said it bothers her that they are where they are because, first of all, before Traci passed, they had their whole family unit. And after she passed, though they had their issues, she thought that they would come together. They would be either as close as they've always been or closer. And that just didn't happen. She said everybody went off to their own little world. And back in the day, she said before Traci passed, we used to call each other and we would be on the phone for hours on end, just laughing and carrying on. One would call the other and that other would call another. And we would find ourselves passing hours just laughing and talking. But we don't even do that anymore. So the counselor gets around to Tony and she's asking Tony how she feels and how she's dealing with seeing Trina breaking down and her own grief process. And Tony is saying she thinks she's at the anger phase. She said, I'm definitely not at acceptance. And so the counselor asked her, do you know what you need that might help you with your process? And Tony said, no. The counselor said, so you don't know what you need, you just kind of know that there's something missing. Tony said, basically, so I just pretty much keep it all suppressed because that's just what I'm supposed to do. The counselor said, according to who? Tony said, I guess just according to my lot in life. And the counselor asked her again, what does that mean? She said, I don't know. It's just what I believe my role is in life, so I just take what comes with it. And she's in the confessional talking about the weight of being the eldest daughter. And if you are an eldest daughter, you know exactly what Tony is talking about. She said, it's not that my family doesn't love me, they don't support me, they're not there for me, but being the oldest, there's something that makes it very, very difficult for me to go to my family for help because I'm always the strong one. I'm always the one that's supposed to have it together and be there for everybody else. So I can't break down. So she doesn't know how to be vulnerable with her family and let them know that she's human and she has needs too. And that is a very, very real thing. Tony went on to talk about the guilt that she feels for being a surviving sibling, especially being the one that had a diagnosis like lupus, that she feels that it's unfair that she's the oldest. She had the medical issue and Traci is the one who passes away. So now the grief counselor wanted to move on and push the conversation forward, but Towanda spoke up and said exactly what I was thinking. Towanda said, hold on, ma'am, before you press forward, could you go back and ask the son of the woman who passed away how he's doing and how he's dealing with it, because that's her daddy and that's her son over there. Could you check on them? And so of course they checked in with the dad and with the son. The dad said, I'm just here to see what's going on with my family and be a part of the process so I can help them heal and be a part of that. I don't know what the hell going on. I'm just showing up. Traci's son Kevin spoke up to say, this is a pain that he lives with every day and that no one in their family can relate to his pain because no one in their family knows what it is to lose their mother at this point, not even his aunts. And he feels like he's lost a part of him. It wasn't just his mom. They had a very deep bond. She was his best friend. He said, and on top of that, he's not only dealing with the grief of losing his mom, he's dealing with the grief of losing his wife because his marriage is falling apart. And you can hear the pain in his voice as he's talking about how hurtful it is for him to be going through this divorce, because he said, we're talking about someone who was here when my mom was alive, who did watch my mother transition, who promised my mother before she transitioned that we would always stick together, we would always work it out, only for her to 2 months before the 2-year anniversary of my mother's passing have me served with divorce papers. Now, I'm not here to say, oh, she shouldn't have did that, because I don't know them people's relationship. I don't live in their house. I don't know what they go through. Now, I am going to say, I remember when they first got together and they first came on the show, I remember I was side-eyeing the whole situation. I don't know. I didn't expect it to work, but I also didn't expect this to happen. So I can understand how whatever he feels has to be absolutely multiplied and magnified. Because it would be one thing to be going through a divorce and you got your mom and you can call your mom, the story, mother. But you can't even call your mom. Like, it's just, this too much. Now, we listening to him tell the story and you can tell they don't tell Tamar shit. Tamar is all the way out the loop because she's sitting up like, what? What happened now? Now, in the middle of him sharing his feelings and what he's dealing with, he has to excuse himself. So he goes to answer the door. We hear people talking in the background. It's somebody in the background talking about, we believe you might have an active warrant. I said, what in the cops is going on here? So now everybody is in shock. And what is going on? Is that the that sounds like the police? Here's Towanda, but just be quiet. Just let him handle it. Trust me. No, it's not okay. I'm going to tell you. The first thing that came to my mind as I watched this scene, and I'm going to finish telling y'all how the scene unfolds, but the first thing that came to my damn mind is this is the same person that Traci cursed out and dragged for absolute filth and told her to her face that she was a snake on TV. Traci's husband had to restrain her to keep her from beating Towanda's ass on TV. And here we go, 2 years after the lady has passed on. And y'all bring this show back with her son and his drama as the central storyline. You need your ass whooped. Towanda pissed me off so bad in this scene, it's not even funny. Cause she running back and forth and I'm gonna call him, and the mom over there, yes, go check on him, Towanda. And she's over there, are you okay? Nephew, what's going on? She's playing the concerned auntie role. That pissed me off so bad because you knew whatever he had going on in the background. And you insisted on having this young man come to film a TV scene for something that should have been as private could get. This child has lost his mother, his best friend. He is going through a divorce. His father is struggling to be there for him and help him through this process. And all you know how to do is bring him to TV to exploit this shit so you can get a check. She's in the confessional talking about how she thinks somebody set him up because it was all just too coincidental. I think it was somebody who knew he was going to be filming this and they sent the cops there at that time. Ma'am, if you knew he had these kinds of issues going on, which you clearly knew because you the only one ain't caught off guard. If you knew that he had this kind of stuff going on, why would you risk him having whatever he's going through exposed on top of the trauma he's dealing with being monetized? Why would you do that? Why would you create the opportunity for somebody to do this? Tony and Tamar are trying to get answers out the damn girl. They asked her, do you know that this the police he talking? What do you mean the police over there? And she's just, I don't want, you're going to have to ask him. Ask him because it's his business. I don't want it on him. Girl, the boy finally come back to the screen. He said, I got to call y'all back. And they asked him, are you good? Are you okay? And she, no, he's not. I hope Traci show up in your very next dream and challenge you to a street fight. You need your ass whooped. Tamar, steady, what is going on? What happened? And the mom over there, we don't know, baby. Something about that we don't know tells me you do know. And if y'all brought y'all asses together as a family to bring this child down to this TV, to use him and everything he's going through as storylines so y'all can have a TV show and y'all can get a check so y'all can go buy y'all a couple wigs and a pair of shoes, I promise you, Karma and Traci is coming hand in hand to tear y'all ass up. If they really did what I think they doing, they getting their asses whooped. Now, I don't know. I could be wrong. But this don't look right. So as Tony and Tamar are going back and forth about that really sounded, was that the police? Trina reaches over and hit Tony's leg. You know that shut the hell up hit. So now Tamar mad. Tamar said, you know what? Y'all got so many secrets, it don't make no damn sense around here. Tony said, what the hell you talking about? I don't know. I just got hit. I don't know. Trina starts explaining, no, it's not that we got a whole lot of secrets. It's just that I don't think that this is the forum to be discussing little Kevin's business, and it's not. Tamar said, okay, well, that's well and good, but what about the outside forum? Why ain't nobody calling me and tell me what's going on with my nephew? Tony said, well, I don't know nothing either. I'm out the loop. Trina said, because it ain't my damn business. If he don't call and tell you his grown-ass business, I ain't calling and telling it. I said, here we go. Yep, this the family shit. This that family drama. I'm saying something about when people die that brings out the worst of the drama in us. So the counselor is trying to talk to them and work through this and calm them down, and is saying, listen, this don't look like this the first time some shit like this happened. It's not, and it ain't gonna be the last. Good luck, ma'am. And Towanda in the back trying to act like she's trying so hard to have this conversation off camera about what are the charges. I want to know what are the charges. Oh, Traci gonna tell you when she show up to whoop your ass. So as they're discussing this whole thing where Tamar feels like the family keeps a whole bunch of secrets and they keep her out the loop, and Tony is saying, well, I don't know why they don't be telling her nothing. It don't be my intention. I be finding stuff out in the back end too. Towanda comes back in and Tony said, well, listen, I knew he was going through a divorce. I didn't know nothing about no damn cops showing up at his house. I didn't know he had nothing going on for cops to be showing up if that's indeed what happened. Towanda said, yes, that is what happened. So Towanda starts explaining that she asked the police what happened. The police told her that someone anonymously called and said that he has a warrant, and apparently he does because they took him into custody. And that's when Towanda is in the confessional talking about she thinks that somebody set little Kevin up, that she thinks they knew that he was going to be filming, they knew he would be at home, so they called and gave this tip so that he would be arrested. She said the timing of it all is just too coincidental. My thing is, why would you put him in position for this to be televised? If you know he got that kind of going on in the background, why would you say, you know what, while you're in the midst of that, before we go down to the precinct and figure out what's going on, let's film a scene or two. Yeah, we'll sell that to the public. That'll pay for your lawyer. Well, since they're now all so consumed and distracted by what's going on with little Kevin, Tony mentioned that, hey, listen, ma'am, this has been real nice, but we're going to probably need to reschedule and reconvene. Tamar said, reconvene? Reconvene for what? Tony said, well, because I don't think any of us are really open to receiving anything right now. Me particularly, because I'm not focused on this. I'm concerned about Traci's son and what's going on with him. I mean, but if you would like to stay and talk to the lady, you can talk to her individually. Tamar said, I don't need to talk to her. I didn't talk to somebody. I've been to grief counseling. This for y'all. So now Tamar is in the confessional talking about how her boundaries are everything. She does not waver her boundaries for anybody. And she doesn't know how to effectively communicate that to a stranger without her knowing everything that they've been through as a sisterhood. She said, but once she puts her foot down, it stays down. So that's just that. And next thing you know, the damn counseling session is going straight to hell in a handbasket. Tamar is talking about, I've arrived at a point in my life where I'm just beyond begging. I'm over begging for anything. Tony done sniffed the bush a mile away. Tony said, just what are you over begging for? Now here come Tamar and her starting voice about, beg for a sisterhood, beg for a friendship. Beg for none of that. Tony said, okay, that's what I thought she was talking about. Okay. So Tony apologizes immediately. She said, I apologize if I ever made you feel like you were begging. It was never my intention. I would never want you to feel like you have to beg for a sisterhood or time or anything of the sort. And Tamar is over there kind of rolling her eyes. Tony said, I mean that sincerely from my heart. And Tony is saying in the confessional that there has to be something that they're doing wrong as sisters, because this is not the first time that Tamar has said she's felt this way. She's felt this way in the past. So something is going on. And they start showing these flashback clips of Tamar expressing this exact same sentiment. And this ain't got nothing to do with nothing, but you know something I noticed, because in these first two episodes, they use a lot of flashback clips. And the one thing that I noticed, every one of them looks healthier and happier at the very beginning, before they really got into doing this show, before they all made themselves public figures and put their lives out there to be dissected. They just all looked happier and healthier. And I don't mean that in they've gotten older, because you can say, a whole lot of time has passed and people change over time. And no, it's like their energy has changed. It's like whatever joy they had has been sucked out of them. Like, is this worth it? Trina said, well, I can't speak for nobody else, but I can speak for me. And when you call me and ask me to come over 9 times out of 10, what happens? Tamar said, you do come over, and I appreciate that. Trina said, it ain't about the appreciation, it's about the fact of the matter. I just want it to be understood that I show up when you call, and it's not just because you call. It's not because I don't want you to complain. It's because I want to be there. I want to actually foster a relationship with you and the rest of our sisters. And she said in the confessional that that's part of the problem, is that you have an issue with 1 or 2 people in the sisterhood, person and you start speaking in general and in blanket statements like it's everybody. And it's not everybody. So if you have an issue, address the issue to the person you have a problem with, and that'll cut out half our problems. So the counselor asked them how do they feel about Tamar's boundary, because she seems to have a very firm boundary about none of them having access to her. And Towanda said, well, hell, as far as I'm concerned, you just got to respect how people feel till they don't feel that way no more. And if her feelings change and she want us around, we'll be around. But in the meantime, in between time, I don't give a damn. Now, she ain't said quite that, but that's basically what she said. And that's what Tamar said she might as well have said. Because Tawanda's talking about, you just got to respect how they feel. And the counselor said, yeah, well, the respect is a behavior. I'm asking you how you feel about not having access to your sister. Tamar said, yeah, just tell her you don't give a damn. Tell the truth. You don't care. And Towanda ain't gonna just say that. She ain't gonna say, I don't give a damn. I really don't care. This lady said, well, it's not connected to a feeling for me. Girl. Now, while Tamar is cranking up the stir, you can see her mama looking at her like, don't start your shit. Don't start that bullshit. And she's like, oh, they don't care what? The counselor says, so hold on. Your sister says you don't have access to me and you don't care that you don't have access to me and it's just not connected to a feeling for you. You don't feel anything. Towanda said, well, I guess the feeling is numb because I don't feel anything positive and I don't feel anything negative. I guess it's numb. And the counselor acknowledged that. She said, yes, and numb is a feeling. It's a very important one. It's a feeling that our bodies go to. It's a way that we shut down when we're overwhelmed by what we feel. She said, so we learn to channel and block whatever that feeling is in order to not feel the hurt that's associated with it. Towanda said, no, I don't know about that. I don't think that's the case because I'm not blocking nothing now. I just don't feel nothing. So, like Tamar has said, you don't care. She just keeps saying, I said I respect where people are. Tamar said, this is TV talk. This is such a damn persona. This is some bullshit. So Tamar posed the question to Towanda. She said, outside of today and yesterday, when's the last time you talked to me? Towanda said, well, I know it wasn't my birthday because you didn't call me. All right, here we go. So Tamar started that damn cackling about your birthday is in September and here we are in March and you don't know the last time you talked to me. Towanda said, I'm just in a space right now where I'm focused on my relationship and whoever is in my household. So just say, I'm not in a place where I have the capacity to care about the state of my relationship with my sister. I'm just not there right now. Because everything else is a damn lie. All this bunch of, I'm just focused on who's in my household. I don't feel anything. It's not connected to a feeling. It's not. You don't care. And sometimes you have to acknowledge that, like in order to really even deal with that, to get past that, to find a resolution to that, or even the root of that, you have to acknowledge that I don't really give a damn. I don't like her and I don't hate her. I'm at a place of indifference with my sister. And that's a real bad place to be in. Well, Tamar challenged Towanda and her bullshit. She said, well, is Trina in your household? And is Tony in your household? Towanda said, well, no, they call me. I talk to them every day. So then you don't make no damn sense. You're literally contradicting yourself because you can't say that I'm only focused on my relationship and the people who are in my household and I don't give a damn about my sister relationships. But on the flip side, say, well, yeah, I talk to these two sisters every day because they call me. They're a part of my life. So then you're further proving the point that you do not care about the state of your relationship with this specific sister, period. And you don't have to. Ain't nobody gonna beat you into it. I mean, maybe your mama might. You don't have to give a damn, but at least tell the truth about it. Don't compound the problem with a lie and don't dishonor yourself. Don't dishonor your own feelings and your own experience by being dishonest about it. Tell the truth that no, I done been through too much with this girl. Yeah, this is my sister of the same mother and same father, but she done did too much and I just ain't got it for her right now. You do a disservice to yourself to not be honest about your experience with her. Because yeah, she might be able to point out all the ways that you're an asshole, but you know what? I can point out a few about you too. All that stoic diplomatic bullshit is not helping. So Tamar goes on to say, well, it's interesting that you would say that you talk to them every day because they call you, because the difference is you answer the phone for them. Towanda said, okay, well, let's get specific. Did you call me yesterday? Tamar said, actually, yes, I did. She said, and did I answer? Tamar said, yeah, you did, but that's because we're taping right now. All right, well. So Tamar and Towanda are going back and forth. And now their mama fed up. She speaks up to say, I'm just sick and tired. You guys act like you are enemies. And she goes off. And her going off on her daughters is what led to all the chatter across the internet about her telling her daughters how she is tired of them and they behave like they're enemies, but she is really the problem and the root of why they behave that way. She starts off her rant saying, I'm tired of it. Y'all can't sit down and have a decent darn conversation. Now, to the point of those who say, listen, you are the reason they like this. They got this from you. We did absolutely watch her demonstrate this very behavior with their father, with her ex-husband, where she was consciously, purposely bitter and nasty and ornery when it came to this man. Now, having said that, I do understand that she had her reasons. I gave this man my entire life and 6 babies, and he ran off with my friend. My thing is, we got introduced to this woman after she had experienced all of that trauma. After she had gone through raising kids and having a marriage and running a church and all kinds of stuff. So I have to ask, especially being a woman, knowing what it is to be traumatized by a man and they bullshit, who was she before that? And are we giving her too much credit and too much blame and too much responsibility for the dysfunction and the dynamic between her daughters and not enough to their father? Because what is his contribution? How did he contribute to the way that their mother is showing up? How did he contribute to the failure and lack of functionality of the relationships in their family? On one hand, even for me, when I sit back and think about it, it's very easy to say, well, you know what? She did demonstrate this. You were absolutely bitter when you had every chance and every responsibility as someone who calls yourself a minister and a Christian to forgive and to try to move forward. And you were absolutely dead set against that. But there is a part of me that wonders, well, at what point does she get to be mad? At what point does she get to process her feelings however she processes them? So I ain't gonna tell you I don't understand, but I'm also not gonna say that she doesn't have some sort of responsibility for how she has demonstrated womanhood and sisterhood and forgiveness or the lack thereof to her daughters. But she's screaming and carrying on, but y'all can't have a decent darn conversation without all this foolishness. All I care about is you guys, and I done lost one child. I can't take no more. Now, she in the middle of her rant. Trina get up to go get her cup out of her hand, but you might go off and throw this at one of us. I don't know. In the middle of her rant, she said, Aunt Trina, I'm like you. Don't touch me. Don't touch me while I'm upset. She said, yeah, I'm just trying to get your cup, Mama. She said, yeah, don't get it on my clothes. I look good now. Excuse me, I'm crying. She carrying on about, what if y'all leave out of here tonight and something happened to one of y'all and y'all don't make it home? Don't you know how short life is? Can't you see? So their mom is asking them, like, what is really wrong? Please, somebody tell me what's wrong. She said even Traci asked y'all not to do this. She said, y'all remember Traci told y'all, if y'all keep arguing and fighting, she gonna haunt y'all? Well, yeah, y'all ain't gonna sleep good tonight. Miss Evelyn said, life is too short. I promise you that. Now, y'all go ahead and act a fool if that's what y'all want to do. I'm tired of going to God about the same thing. Lord, please help my kids. Lord, please make sure they all right. Lord, please talk to them. Lord, please heal their relationship. And y'all steady just to act a dang on fool. When a black mama get to carrying on like that, just say, everybody shut up. Just shut up and wait on it to be over. Now, what she did say is in her prayer, she asked God to help her children to show their children the way. She said, and what the devil are y'all showing them? And that's the question you have to go ask yourself. Because this is a byproduct of what you all demonstrated to your children. So at this point, you have to show them something different because this is all they've been shown and this is all they know. Well, at that point, she was disgusted and done. She said, I'm fed up. I'm tired. Y'all deal with it. I'm done. And she got up and walked off. She was big mad. That's how I walked out my last job. I understand. Now, in the confessional, she says, these are grown behind people. I'm not going to be in the middle of this. They have issues I can't fix. Well, the problem, ma'am, is you are in the middle of it. You are the middle of it and the head of it. Now, you ain't the only head and you ain't the only middle. That responsibility is to be shared as far as I am concerned, in my opinion. However, you don't get to rear 5, 6 people who all have the same issue and mirror a dysfunction that you demonstrated to them and say, I ain't got nothing to do with that. I was really taken aback when she kept going and she said, they got issues I can't fix and it's not my place to fix. I'm not a fixer. I'm a mother. What? Excuse me, ma'am. I don't know, because I ain't never been nobody mama. I don't know. But I got a mama, and I got some siblings. And, you know, there's been a time or two my mama and I had to threaten to knock our head between the wash and the dryer. And so, I know that things get thick and things get complicated. But I'm trying to understand how you get to opt out of being responsible for any of the issues that your kids have. And it's not like they're just these dysfunctional individuals who are showing up in the world a certain way. They don't get along with each other. That roots back to your house and your upbringing, your rearing of them. So yeah, you have to fix whatever was not done right. Or it's going to get passed down to the next generation for them to figure out how to fix it. Because you saying you ain't fixing nothing, that ain't your problem. The children that you rear don't even realize it's a problem. And if they realize it's a problem, they so steeped in the problem that they don't want to resolve the problem. They just want to tell each other go to hell. So there's not going to be any resolution. And voila, we have created a generational curse. See, we think of things like generational curses as some witch in a back room stirring a cauldron and speaking spells and pinning dolls and all. No. We create and perpetuate generational curses with bad decisions every day. Every day that you decide to keep some shit going that been going in your family, that's been keeping up division in your family, that's been causing problems in your family, that's been a secret in your family, you continue to perpetuate the generational curse. Breaking the curse don't have to be some 5 generations down the line fantasy. It's a choice away. And so episode 2 came to an end with them getting Miss Evelyn to calm down and come back. And the counselor said to her, I think you said a lot of things to your girls that I think actually did have an effect on them. And she kind of rolled her eyes. The counselor said, well, I guess you don't think it had an effect. She said, no, it's not so much that I don't think it had an effect as much as it is that I'm disappointed in them because enough is enough and I'm tired of this. And the counselor said, well, I have the same hope for this family that your mom has for y'all to get it together. You just have to be motivated and willing to do the work and to take accountability. And next week, we'll be back to get into more Little Kevin's business, and I'll be putting more of my foot in their ass because I cannot believe y'all got Traci's son up here with this bullshit. But that's it, that's all, and I ain't got no more. Thank you so much for coming down here, listening to me, and letting me get this off my chest. Please be sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe if you've not already. And in the meantime, until next time, just like every time, y'all know I love you so much, and I mean it. Bye.